The Ferengi vessel is moving out of orbit. Impulse power. They are approaching the entry to the wormhole, sir.
Hello, welcome to Star Trek Sodium. This is the 8th episode of Star Trek Next Generation, and it follows the Enterprise as they come across the Barzan wormhole and the foolhardy Ferengis that want it for themselves, which would lead to a sequel 7 years later in Star Trek Voyager. Some people might suspect that this episode is mainly famous for having that bloke from Police Academy 5 and 6, but that's probably not true. Now on to some facts that I've discovered just for you. The role of the Ferengi character of Cole was originally going to be played by serial Ferengi actor Armen Shimman, but he had to turn down the role as he was too busy at the time. You see, he was the only lifeguard that the beach had down at Malibu Beach, and there was an influx of dangerous jellyfish washing up on the beach and bobbing around on the water. He unselfishly chose to forego Star Trek this time around to help secure the safety of naive tourists and local swimmers who just couldn't look after themselves.
Excuse me for saying so under the circumstances, Premier, but this fight seems to really be between the Federation and the Ferengi.
Gates McSomething was absent from the first day of filming this episode. The reason for this is because she was at the airport in LA, conscientiously protesting at the extension of the runway, which would destroy up to 16 acres of innocent fields. The problems didn't end there though for Star Trek, when she eventually turned up at the studio a day late to film her scenes. She smelled strongly of airports, much to the dismay of her co-actors. Will Weaton doesn't talk or smile for much of this episode while facing the Hensing camera, as he had accidentally smashed out his front teeth while playing a crucial game of baseball earlier in the week. Blood and mouth bone had splattered onto the pitch underneath his face as the ball struck him full power in the gob. Fortunately though, they were still his baby teeth, and so his adult teeth slowly replaced them over the next few weeks, and as of the episode after this one, it's hard to tell the difference. During the soapy scene on the bridge between Worf and Picard, the Worf actor stood heavily on Patrick Stewart's foot, causing a massive amount of anguish for the poor English thespian. Luckily, Stewart was a true master of the silver screen, and as the cameras continued to roll, he continued with the scene. Luckily, it was a scene that had the heads up close, so the stump is off of camera. But those of you with eagle eyes would note that a Picard actor seems to suddenly look pained, like a cat being struck with a large clock. Gates McSomething brought her large dog Pentagram to work while filming this episode, The Price, because it was National Bring Your Dog to Work Day. Pentagram was a heavy, large and energetic hound that would jump up in a friendly manner at all of the actors, knocking them to the ground in many cases, causing mild injuries. The only actual injury of note was that of poor Chief O'Brien actor, who was allegedly knocked back and landed on his arm, dislocating his shoulder. Oof! As a reminder to the Dr. Crusher actress, a story would be written into the 25th episode of this very season, whereby Chief O'Brien goes to the sickbay because of a dislocated shoulder while kayaking in the holodeck. Created lovingly by Gene Roddenberry back in Season 1, the Ferengis had taken part in a downward spiral towards silliness, and Gene was unhappy about them becoming the joke characters of the show. To him, they were like his sons. The direction that Rick Berman had steered the Ferengi race in had sickened Gene to the very core of the fabric of his humanity, so he decided it was time to retire from the show. Stepping back, he was sure that Michael Piller would help to keep Rick Berman in check and ensure Star Trek's rosy future. Until 2005 anyway. As the episode was being filmed at the Christmas period, filming was constantly being interrupted by Paramount executives driving past the studio or just parking outside, blaring popular Christmas tunes from their expensive cars. Some scenes took absolutely hours to film, while the cars just sat outside playing the festive favourites. All the time, the actors and the crew were inside the warm studios, taking extra long coffee breaks. "This is why I hate Christmas," possibly said Rick Berman. "This is why I hate everything." In a twisted and dark set of events that's hard to believe, the sequel episode that features in Star Trek Voyager's 3rd season is actually better than this one. I shudder to think how utterly brilliant and perfect a 3rd episode in the story might have been, but perhaps it's for the best that it didn't exist, as it would no doubt be a masterpiece. Maybe that would have been a good idea for a future Star Trek movie. Lever Burton and the data robot actor, Spiner, had struck up a friendship with the homeless that was living behind one of the panels at the back of the bridge set. When filming had wrapped for the day while filming The Price, Lever and the data robot actor, Spiner, left a heap of food leftovers from the catering table next to the hatch where the homeless was hiding. The stale stench of urine and unwashed clothes didn't deter the famous actors from their benevolence, though. They would also regularly leave bottles of booze for their unseen friend, who would only venture out from his nook inside the set at night time once everybody else had left the studio. Thanks for discovering these terrific facts about The Price, which is the 8th episode of Season 3 of Star Trek Next Generation. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to come back in the future for some more fantastic facts about Star Trek that you didn't even know, and please comment underneath to let me know about any facts that you might have discovered, because believe it or not, from time to time there is the odd fact that even I haven't discovered. And if you didn't notice, I've started some terrific fact videos for Star Trek Deep Space Nine, so go and check that out if you haven't. Thank you very much. Ta-ta!